With the MLB trade deadline 1 week away, I thought it'd be a good time to start talking about some players that could be traded at the trade deadline. So today's video is going to be 10 players that could be dealt at the MLB trade deadline. Before we do get going into the list of 10 players that could be traded, make sure to leave a like on this video, 500 plus likes, and I will do another list of 10 players that could also be traded at the deadline. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're on our way to 26,000 subs. Your guys' support has been amazing recently. Keep it up. And let me know in the comment section below if there's any players that I left out that you think should be in this list, as well as if there's any teams or somebody that you want to see your team get or trade. I love to have a conversation down there. I love when we talk baseball, so make sure we get down there. Let's get talking. You can also follow me on Twitter at GiraffeNeckMarc, link in the description. Tweet me about what trades you hear, all that good stuff. I love talking baseball. So before we do get going into this list, I just want to let you guys know that these are not the top 10 guys that I think will be traded. These are just possible rumors and guys that might be traded. None of this is set in stone. Some of these guys I got from lists off other websites. Some of these guys are just people that I think could be possibly moved. Same thing with the teams that are interested in them. So let's get going into our list. So getting us started off on this list of the 20 players that could be dealt at the trade deadline, we are going to be going with the closer from the Baltimore Orioles, Zach Britton. Now, Zach Britton, he has been battling injury this year, so he doesn't have a lot of time on the mound, only 16 games and 15 2/3 innings. But of course, we know that when he is on his game, he can be one of the most devastating left-handed relievers in all of baseball. Flashback to that 2016 year where he was absolutely incredible. Now, Zach Britton is in the final year of his contract. He will be a free agent in 2019, so the Orioles are looking to trade him because let's get something for a guy, considering that the Orioles are definitely the worst team in baseball and not going anywhere soon. So for a guy like Zach Britton, they may be able to get a few prospects from some good teams and help build that farm system. It's a no-brainer to trade him. So essentially, every single contender this year is interested in Zach Britton. You got the Astros and Yankees being two of the top. You've also got the Cubs, the Indians, Red Sox, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Nationals, Braves, Phillies. Any team that's competing could use Zach Britton on their team. Where do I think Zach Britton ultimately ends up going? The two favorites right now are the Astros and Yankees, and I think he's going to be going to the Yankees, unfortunately. The next player on the list of players that could be dealt at the trade deadline is going to be Wilson Ramos, the catcher of the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, Wilson Ramos did find himself on the 10-day DL recently with hamstring tightness and could be out until the start of August, which could complicate his trade implications at the deadline, considering it ends at the 31st. But still, there's a lot of interest for Ramos. He's coming off an all-star season this year, and he was an all-star back in 2016. 2017, he had some injury issues, so he did not play as much, but he's having a nice 2018. In 293 at-bats, Wilson Ramos is hitting 297 with a 346 on-base percentage, 14 home runs, 53 RBIs. He's having a very nice season. Now, this may be shocking to you, but there is not a plethora of good catching in Major League Baseball right now. And a lot of the competing teams don't really have great catchers behind the dish either. Some teams that can use Wilson Ramos behind the dish, the Nationals, Red Sox, and Astros. Ultimately, I think Wilson Ramos finds himself going back to Washington for the Nationals. They really need a catcher, and they've been pretty heavily connected to him. They used to have him too on the team, so they like the guy. The next player that could be traded at the trade deadline is going to be Asdrubal Cabrera, the second baseman of the New York Mets. Although 32 years old, Asdrubal Cabrera is having a career season. It couldn't come at a better time for the New York Mets, as he is a free agent next year. In 95 games, Asdrubal Cabrera is hitting 276 with a 328 on base percentage, 481 slugging, 809 OPS. He's hit 17 home runs and 53 RBIs, as well as 21 doubles. As much as I've enjoyed Asdrubal's time on the Mets being a Met fan, it is time for him to go, and the Mets could definitely get something for him. There's a lot of teams that can use middle infielders. He can even play third base if you want him, but the two big guys that I think would be most beneficial to get Asdrubal Cabrera are going to be the Red Sox and the Brewers. If I had to pick exactly where Asdrubal's going to be going, my prediction will be the Milwaukee Brewers. The fourth player on our list is going to be a starting pitcher of the Toronto Blue Jays, don't call me J.A. Happ. Similarly to a lot of players on this list, J. Happ will be a free agent in 2019. The Blue Jays are not going anywhere this year, so they're just trying to get any kind of value for him possible. The last 3 years for J. Happ in Toronto have been pretty good. In 2016, he finished 6th in the Cy Young voting, 20-4 record with 3.18 ERA. Last year, he had a nice ERA at 3.5, but the wins and losses weren't there. But again, that really doesn't matter. And this current season, he's pitching decent. He's got a 4.18 ERA, which is a little bit on the higher side. 10-6 in 114 innings. He's got 130 strikeouts. His K per 9 is 10.3. Hits per 9 are down to 7.8. He's honestly having a decent year, and he was the Blue Jays All-Star. A lot of teams stick by the motto, pitching wins championships, and there are a lot of contenders who could use another arm, especially left-handed, in their rotation. 3 teams that have been rumored with J. Happ are the Yankees, Mariners, and Phillies. All 3 of those teams could use another starting pitcher to boost their rotation, and all 3 of them are contending for a spot in the playoffs. Personally, I think J. Happ's going to either end up on the Yankees or Phillies, and if I had to make a bet, I'm going to be going with he's on the New York Yankees. The 5th player on my list has already been traded once this season, former pitcher of the New York Mets, currently on the Cincinnati Reds, Big Matt Harvey. After being traded to the New York Mets, Matt Harvey has seemed to turn it around. He's still not pitching great, but he has been pitching better of late. He has had a pretty decent July, although his last start did get shelled. He's currently 5-4 with the Reds with a 4.5 ERA in 68 innings. His strikeouts are up a bit, his walks are down a bit, so he has been pitching better. But at the same time, Matt Harvey still not looking great. Again, Matt Harvey's another player who's going to be a free agent in 2019, and for the Cincinnati Reds, he's not a part of your future, so you might as well trade him and get some other prospects. Now, there aren't a ton of teams that are interested in Matt Harvey. There's been some rumors, but here are the 4 that I think could use him. We've got the Yankees again, the Boston Red Sox, Seattle Mariners, and Milwaukee Brewers, who have been reaching out to him more and more recently. If I had to guess, I'm going to go with the Brewers. The Brewers seem to be making a stronger push after this guy. Very interested in him. I would have thought Yankees, but I don't think the Yankees want Matt Harvey. If they do, they're going to get him in free agency. Coming in 6th on our list is a player that I wish the Mets got to play third base instead of Todd Frazier this year. That would be the Kansas City Royals third baseman, Mike Moustakas. Mike Moustakas came out the year swinging. He was having a great start. He's cooled off a little bit, but still having a very nice year. In 95 games, he has 19 homers, 59 RBIs, hitting .247 with a .309 on base, 460 slugging, 770 OPS. And what a surprise, Mike Moustakas is a free agent in 2019 as well. There's a few teams that could use some third base help, specifically in the National League East, but overall, a lot of teams would want this guy to be playing there. I personally think it's between the Braves, Phillies, Yankees, and Red Sox to land Moustakas. I would personally like to see him stay away from the Yankees, Braves, and Phillies, but it seems like those could be some of the more likely landing spots, with the Braves and Yankees being the favorites. Ultimately, if he does end up getting dealt, I think he's going to end up on the Atlanta Braves. The 7th player on our list is going to be the starting pitcher of the Tampa Bay Rays, Chris Archer. Now, Chris Archer has been rumored to be traded for what seems like the last 10 years, but he hasn't been playing that long, so it's probably more like 2 or 3. Unlike many of the players that are currently being rumored to possibly be traded at the trade deadline, Chris Archer is not a free agent in 2019. They have control over him until 2020. Now, Chris Archer has amazing stuff. This could be a Garrett Cole type situation. He has great pitches, but his numbers just have not been great over the past few years. This year in 16 starts, he's 3-4 with a 4.3 ERA. His whip is at 1.378, which is very high, a career high for him, in fact. His strikeouts are down at 9.9 from 11.1 the past year. He's walking a little bit more, giving up the same amount of home runs, but giving up more hits as well, so it's definitely a down year for Chris Archer. Personally, I would take the risk on him. I think he's got great stuff. He's young. You can tell he can be a very good pitcher. It might just be a Garrett Cole situation where he needs a change of scenery, because we all know how Garrett Cole's pitching for the Astros this year. Wow. I'm sure a lot of teams would be interested in him as well, and here are some of the guys that I think would benefit from grabbing him. Chicago Cubs, Seattle Mariners, Atlanta Braves, Los Angeles Dodgers, and Milwaukee Brewers. All those teams would benefit from adding this guy to their rotation. The team that I think lands Chris Archer, and I want to put this one in print and say I think it's definitely going to happen. I think the Milwaukee Brewers are going to get Chris Archer. Milwaukee's got a nice farm system. They have some players that the Rays could use, and Chris Archer would fit in perfectly there. They need an ace in their rotation. We are down to our final 3 players here, 8, 9, 10 on our list of 10 players that could be traded at the trade deadline. The one I'm about to mention, I do not think should happen, and if the Mets do it, I'm going to lose my mind. Card in the top right-hand corner of the screen. I talked about it a little earlier in a few weeks ago, but the rumors of Jacob Degrom possibly being traded at the trade deadline are still flying around, and therefore he could be a player that gets traded, although I would lose my mind if they do. The Mets are having an absolutely horrible season. There's no hiding that. But Jacob Degrom has been a bright spot for the entire organization, and there's somehow been talks about possibly trading him. I still can't believe it. They better not do it. But here's his numbers for the year. They're disgusting. So with a 1.71 ERA, Jacob Degrom is currently 5-5. I don't know how that's humanly possible, but it's happening. So like I said, 1.71 ERA, 130 innings pitched. He strikes out a ton of batters at 10.9 rate. Doesn't walk a lot of guys, 2.2 per 9. Doesn't give up a lot of home runs, and it's only given up 6 hits per 9 innings. Jacob Degrom, of course, made the All-Star team, and he has a whip under 1 for a starting pitcher. I can't stress this enough. The Mets better not trade him. I don't think they should. But there's a rumor and it fits into this video. So, some of the places being rumored to be traded, or could definitely use them, they don't make me very happy. Yankees, Indians, Brewers, and honestly, I think any team in the major leagues is trying to get this guy if he's actually available. Where do I think he ends up going? I don't think he ends up going anywhere, and maybe that's just me being completely biased, but oh my god, I can't even give a where I think he ends up going, because I can't imagine him being traded. The Mets front office would be really stupid to get rid of this guy. So sorry if I pissed you off there, but I don't think he's going anywhere. Coming in at number 9 for us is going to be another starting pitcher, Cole Hamels of the Texas Rangers. Cole Hamels having a career worst season this year with a 5-9 record, career high 4.72 ERA in 20 games started and 114 innings pitched. He is a free agent in 2019, so the Rangers are looking to get any value out of him while they still can, because it's pretty obvious that he's probably going to walk after this year. Cole Hamels is a shell of the pitcher he once was when he was in Philly and at the start of his career in Texas, but he's still a decent pitcher and can definitely help out teams in playoff contention because he has that experience and honestly does have some good stuff. Right now, the two main teams that are rumored to possibly be getting Cole Hamels or have interest in him are the New York Yankees and the Philadelphia Phillies, which is funny because back when Cole Hamels got traded to the Rangers, it was rumored that the Phillies were going to be trading him to the Yankees. Where do I think Cole Hamels ends up going? I actually think he's going to end up going back to the Phillies. I think the Rangers have to make the move here. He's not going to re-sign next year, and I don't think you even necessarily want to if you're the Rangers, because you're not going anywhere anytime soon, but I think Cole Hamels ends up back in Philly. And our 10th and final player that we're going to cover here in this video is going to be Derek Dietrich of the Miami Marlins. Now, Derek Dietrich is a very interesting player. The Marlins recently mentioned how they want to trade him, try to get some value for him. They don't see him as the future. But Derek Dietrich's a pretty decent hitter. He has really no position that he's great at. He can play second base, he can play third base, he can play first base in the corner outfield positions, but he's not a great fielder at any one of those positions. But if you're a team that needs a bat, Derek Dietrich could be your guy. Derek Dietrich is having a career year. He's got career highs in almost every single stat that is possible, including RBIs, which he's gonna break his record. So in 341 at-bats, Derek Dietrich has 13 home runs, 36 RBIs, is hitting .287 with a .354 on-base percentage, .463 slugging, .817 OPS, and his OPS plus is 129, which is above the league average. Like I said, Derek Dietrich can play a lot of different positions. He's played 190 games at second, 143 at third, 140 in left, and 37 at first, and he's played a game or two at right field, but I mean, left field and right field, not too different. The dude is a very versatile player. I'd love to see him get off the Marlins because he absolutely kills the Mets when he plays us. And for teams like the Brewers, Cubs, Indians, maybe even Astros, he could be a great addition to their team. Where do I think he ends up going? I actually think the Chicago Cubs might be the team that get Derek Dietrich. I think he'd be a great utility player for them. I'd love to know what you guys think about the 10 players that I named in this video. Let me know if there's anybody I missed out in the comment section down below. Let's have a conversation. What do you think about these players being traded out? I'd love to know your opinions. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new and you enjoy the content, and as well, leave a like on the video. Show me that support. As always, YouTube recommends you watch this video right here, so make sure you click it, as well as this is my most recent MLB news video that I uploaded, so click that as well, and you can click my face here to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.